Guess who was denied $500,000 in reimbursement costs? The government and RDV Corporation, the DeVoss family. So let's take a look at why the court denied $500,000 reimbursement in prejudgment interest and costs associated with this case. So here's the order of restitution. I'm just going to highlight. Now again, Sunny Balwani and Elizabeth Holmes are both on the hook for $452,047,268. It's a mandatory restitution award because this is a case involving fraud. So the judge awarded the $452 million based on 12 investors. Okay, so let's take a look at why the court denied the government, the prosecution, and RDV Corporation, the DeVoss family, a reimbursement of over $500,000. So look at line 19, prejudgment interest and investigative costs. That means the accruing interest while they're waiting for the judge to make a decision or a judgment on the amount of restitution. So the government seeks a prejudgment interest under the MVRA, which is the Mandatory Victims Restitution Act, and a $500,000 reimbursement to RDV for its legal fees. Although the MVRA, the Mandatory Victims Restitution Act, does not expressly provide for prejudgment interest, district courts have discretion to award interest for victims' actual losses as foregone interest. Here, balancing the equities and considering the substantial restitution amounts at issue, the $452 million, the court will exercise its discretion to waive interest. That means to deny the prejudgment interest on the final restitution award. So it does not, the $452 million restitution award does not include any prejudgment interest. All right. Now let's look at what RDV wants their legal and investigative fees reimbursed. The government and RDV has approximated the fees to be over $500,000 in connection with what? Document collections and production, law enforcement interviews, depositions, grand jury, and trial testimony. However, the MVRA, which is the law that the judge applies, the Mandatory Victims Restitution Act, requires more precision than an approximation. A back of the envelope approach simply will not do. In the absence of any billing records, they didn't submit billing records. In the absence of billing records or other supporting documents, they didn't, okay. RDV's generalized request for $500,000 in legal fees is too imprecise for restitution. In other words, the court denied RDV's request to be reimbursed for over $500,000 in legal fees. Wow. Okay, so they didn't submit billing records or other supporting documents. Well, the judge made a ruling and it's his discretion whether to grant or deny, and he denied it. So the restitution award that both Sunny Balwani and Elizabeth Holmes are on the hook to pay for in its entirety will not include, the judge decided it will not include prejudgment interest, and it will not include reimbursing the government or RDV for document collection, productions, law enforcement interviews, depositions, grand jury, trial testimony, and legal fees. So, thank you very much for watching. Please do submit any questions or comments you have, because I will go through some of the legal arguments that the defense makes in this restitution order and what the judge's response, what the court's response is. So please submit your comments or questions, and don't forget to vote in our community poll. Which prison do you think Elizabeth Holmes is going to be sent to? Dublin, Bryan, Texas, or some other facility? We are awaiting the decision from the Bureau of Prisons because Elizabeth Holmes has been ordered to surrender to prison on May 30th to begin serving her 11-year 11-year, 3-month sentence. So thanks again for subscribing to Michelle's Analysis. Please do leave it a comment or question. Hit that like button. Share these videos. If you want to contribute to me making these videos, I'll put a PayPal link in the description box below the video. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks again for all your support. Thanks again for all your great questions. And have a great weekend.